has been set up. That has representatives from all the key players in the management of Ghana's energy sector. And they have, up until the close of day today, to put before government a roadmap on what exactly needs to be done and how it can be done. So you can rest assured that government is taking the matter seriously and will do what has to be done in order to avert any difficulty for the people of Ghana. It needs to be stressed that the pegging exercise, or if you like, the maintenance exercise on the pipeline, should have been carried out in October of last year. Government then, the MPP government, requested that they shift it to January 20th in order that they will have sufficient time to procure the alternative fuels, that is the liquid oils, to power the thermal plants within the period that gas will not be available. At least in about 2 national security briefings that the then president-elect held with the present government, he asked about the status of the procurement of oils, and he was given firm assurance by the then government that they had put mechanisms in place to resolve the situation, that there will not be the difficulty that we are talking about today. It does appear that that promise was not kept, and therefore the responsibility has shifted to the present government. But President Mahama is alive to the task, and adequate responses.
Well, still on some energy matters, the government urgently needs nearly $90 million to avert a looming power crisis caused by insufficient fuel supplies for thermal plant. According to a report by the Ghana Grid Company, the GridCo report outlines that the funds are required to procure liquid fuel such as light crude oil to operate thermal plants in Tema and meet growing electricity demand. The crisis stems from a generation capacity deficit following a pegging exercise conducted by the West African gas pipeline company WAPCO, which temporarily disrupted national gas supply. The strategies to mitigate the impact of the fuel shortage and maintain grid stability to include rescheduling plant maintenance, securing alternative fuel and load management measures. The report warns that failure to act swiftly could lead to prolonged power outages, disrupting economic activities and public service. Stakeholders have called for expedited government actions to secure funding and implement the recommended measures to avert the crisis. And now the World Bank has reiterated its commitment to fostering economic growth in African nations with a special focus on financing key development initiatives in Ghana. Osmano Diangana, Vice President for the West African and Central at the World Bank, affirmed the institution's dedication to supporting African countries in overcoming the challenges of sustainable economic growth. He made these remarks during a high-level delegation visit to President John Dramani Mahama's office in Accra on Wednesday, January 8, 2025. The discussion centered on strategies to strengthen partnership and enhance development efforts across the region.
Giving us a lot of
a lot of headache.
Yes, I was mentioning to my teams this morning, I will give the floor maybe to Robert and Gruber to come in on that, that maybe it would be useful at some point that we have a dedicated session with your administration on that. But let me here seize the opportunity to inform you that the President Ajay Banga and the President Adesina, respectively World Bank and African Development Bank, are convening a head of state summit on energy in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, on January 28, 7 and 28.
Wow.
Yeah, the 27 will be with a minister, and the 28 is on head of state.
Okay.
So the letter was sent 2 months ago.
Okay.
And I think we would be very honored to have you participating in the discussion.
Okay.
As part of this conversation, we had identified 15 what we call compact countries to prepare their plan, which will make a combination of reform and investment that the World Bank can support. Given the challenges that Ghana was facing on energy, Ghana was not part of the first group of countries, but we have a roadmap that we can allow Ghana to be part of the second group generation of countries that will be built next year.
Okay.
So I think this could really provide an excellent yes.
Okay.
Away from that, let's do some election matters. And the Electoral Commission returning officer for the Ablekuma North constituency, Vincent Orban, has announced his decision to step down from the ongoing collation of parliamentary results, citing frustrations encountered during the process. Speaking to the media on Wednesday, January 8, Mr. Orban disclosed that out of 7 polling stations, results from 4 had been successfully collated, leaving 3 outstanding. He explained that difficulties arose due to inability presiding officers to authenticate the statement of the poll and the declaration forms.
We came today, we've been able to do 4 out of the 7. So we are left with 3 more. We brought our presiding officers here. 2 came and they couldn't authenticate the statement of poll and declaration form. 1 said she can't come. So that is the 3 now. It's so unfortunate for me to make this statement that I'm done with Ablekuma North. They should find a new returning officer to continue their work. Thank you.
Let's now move straight to Parliament. And the 9th Parliament of Ghana, sworn in on the dawn of Tuesday, January 7, 2025, has finalized the composition of its key committee, including the Appointment Committee. Now, this committee, critical for vetting President John Dramani Mahama's ministerial nominees, comprises members from both the majority and minority side of the House. Following a meeting by the Committee on Selection on January 8, 2025, the members of the Appointment Committee was formalized in line with Article 103 of the 1992 Constitution and the Standing Orders of Parliament. The committee's composition reflects input from the leadership of both caucuses and adheres to the principles of representing the diversity of opinions in Parliament. The Appointment Committee, chaired by Honorable Bernard Ahiafo, is responsible for vetting nominees for ministerial, ambassadorial and other key positions. The 9th Parliament of Ghana, sworn in on the dawn of Tuesday, January 2025, again, as we do know, has finalized the composition of its key committees, including the Appointment Committee. Now, this is critical for vetting President John Dramani Mahama. Now, following a meeting by the committee again of selection on January 8, 2025, the membership of the Appointment Committee was formalized in line with Article 103 of the 1992 Constitution. So the committee's composition reflects input from leadership of both caucuses and adheres to the principles of diversity of opinions. Now, as we do know, Bernard Ahiafo is responsible for vetting nominees for ministerial, ambassadorial. So the members include Honorable Emmanuel Amakofibwa. He is going to be the vice chairperson. Honorable Kwame Govins Agboja. On that committee also is Honorable Mahama Ayariga, Honorable Agnes Na Momo Lati, Honorable Alexander K. Afenyo-Markin, he's the ranking member. Honorable Patricia PJ, deputy ranking member. The committee has been tasked with ensuring a rigorous vetting process for President Mahama's nominees, especially given the pressing need for the new government to hit the ground running. Now, during deliberations, the committees had adhered to Standing Orders 216 and 217, ensuring balance and representation in the committee's composition. The Speaker of Parliament emphasized the importance of these appointments to foster unity and effective governance. Ghanaians will be keenly observing the process, which will provide insight into key administration's approach to governance and accountability. Still in Parliament, Minority Leader and MP for Ifutu constituency Alexander Afenyo-Markin has rejected the description of the majority caucus as a macro-minority by Speaker Alban Kingsford Bagman during the 3rd sitting of the 1st session of the 9th Parliament. The ministry side rose in agitation, filling the floor with chant against the Speaker's choice of words. Leader of the minority Afenyo-Markin argued that the It undermines the dignity of the NPP caucus, and he called on the Speaker to retract his description and argue that the standing orders of the House do not allow for such categorization. The Speaker in turn agreed and the description was not right, but argued that the minority leader was misled into using that name because he had previously used it.
I shall, in response to what you just said about your duty to protect the micro minority. Mr. Speaker, the rules of this House provide for the minority and the majority. Mr. Speaker, we do not have any micro minority. Mr. Speaker, the minority caucus hereby protests. Mr. Speaker, we protest the description given to us by Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Meanwhile, the majority side of the House demanded an apology from the minority leader for alleging that they wanted to oust the Speaker of Parliament and were not in support of his nomination. Majority Chief Whip Governs Kwame Agboja, who rose to the floor of the House, argued that the minority leader's agitations were unfounded and he should retract and apologize to the side accordingly.
And the order says that, and I read, a member shall not use offensive, abusive, insulting, blasphemous, or unbecoming words on a member or any other person, or B, impugn improper motives.
Please.
Other person. Mr. Speaker, my colleague suggested that the majority was conspiring against you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have it on record when the minority leader at political functions was describing you in words that can never be used on this floor, and said, Mr. Speaker, that the greatest injustice to Parliament was to elect you as Mr. Speaker. You said that on political platform. Today, a 10-quote minority leader is now pretending he loves you more than the people who actually you belong to. We can tell you this. We can tell you this. We can tell you this. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, and I know you got...
And away from Parliament, let's do some labor issues. And the Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Mustafa Gbande, has defended the actions of alleged party supporters accused of vandalizing state properties and attacking state institutions. Gbande argued that these individuals were protecting state property rather than engaging in acts of violence. Speaking to the media on Wednesday, January 8th, the NDC's Deputy General Secretary added that the party is collaborating with the police to restore law and order and address the situation amicably. Meanwhile, CLOSAG and Organized Labour have condemned the locking up of offices and rejection of public offices.
So all those who are encumbering civil service positions that the council has not advised on their appointment, they should advise themselves. We are going to come after them. We are going to weed them out because they are the cause of this problem. Because the public is seeing them mingling with civil servants and criminal civil service positions. So they see all of us as one. And this is the results. So now we are going to weed them out. We are going to weed them out. If you know that your appointment is by politics, we have a Supreme Court ruling. If you yourself, you know your appointment is by...
Away from that, member of the National Executive Committee of the National Democratic Congress, Wanda Koto, has advised the newly inaugurated Mahama-led government to live up to expectations of Ghanaians, stating that the Fourth Republic could face jeopardy should they fail to uphold their obligations. Speaking on ABC News Ghana, he noted that Ghanaians are gradually losing trust in politicians and democratic institutions due to unfulfilled promises, a situation which poses a significant risk to political instability achieved under the Fourth Republic.
On our side, on the transition team, they assured us that they were going to get money from Ministry of Finance and they were going to place the order. Because you know that if today we place the orders today, it will not arrive today. Even if it arrives today, you cannot process the fuel today. So they gave such assurances, but you'll be surprised that they could not meet they could not honor their promise. However, they were able to transfer monies on the last day, even on the 6th, the last day on the 6th, they sent huge sums to the presidency. That's what they did. Paying some contractors huge sums of money. But what was so important, such as ordering of fuel in order to keep the light on, they didn't do that. But I can assure you that we are not just going to complain, we are going to solve the problem, but we just wanted to put the facts.
And that's all for the package this morning on ABC Headlines. I am Eric Chinibwat-Melo. For more news, do want to log on to our website, www.abcnewsghana.com, as well as you can visit our YouTube website, just in case you missed the bulletin. I am Eric Chinibwat-Melo. Once again, ABC in the morning continues shortly after this. Do stay with us.